So let me share back my screen. So I was saying that at first we had a string, and then when we changed and created another file which is having a constructor, and that constructor is called the quote. Now we can no longer access the contents, which is in we cannot access the content using a string, because the only way we can input values, because we want to input these values, and these values we are inputting are stored in the other file which is quote.dat. The only way we can do that is using a constructor, because when you are using this constructor, whichever we type in this constructor, when we give it a text and then we give it the author, it will store these ones as strings in the other file. So however, the file we have created is sensitive, that even if I change the order, like when you look at this, I have the text first and then I have the author first. So but then for it to remember this order, that I have a text and then I have the author. So it will just recognize the word text and see if it matches with the text I'm having in this file. Then it looks at the author and see if it matches with the author I have in this file. Me at whichever order I use, let me try to save this and we see. So whichever order I use for it, it can change it to the default order. You can see that the order is the same. Here I have the text first and then I have the author first. Because when you come to my body, I told this one to output the text first and then to output the author last. Let me try to change that order such that it outputs the author first and then the text last. Let me try to save that and we see. I think now we are seeing that I have the author and then the text comes last. Because of what I typed here. So this format which is here in the list quotes, it doesn't matter. What matters is what I code in the body. So here you can use any order you want. It is the body which determines what is first and what is last. Even in the body, I can decide that I want the text only. I don't want the author. So for example, if I type this, I just want, and I say that I just want the text, I don't want the author. And I save. I think you are seeing only the text. Because whenever you use a constructor, it is you to determine whether you call all the variables which are in that constructor, or you call one. If it takes in 4, you can decide to call 2 and you leave the rest because of that constructor. It's not like in a function whereby if the function takes in 2 arguments, then it is a must they have to be 2. So for a constructor, it is different. You can decide to call 1 or all of them. So that's how we can always access the elements in a list. Pardon?
So you replace the string with the constructor?
Yeah, you replace the string with the constructor, because now our variable is of type quote, that name of the constructor. That's why, for example, if I want to create something, I just declare it as a quote. I think you remember that basic in Java, where you had to type the name and then you give it, for example, quote. I call it my quote, anything I want. Now this quote acts as our variable name. It is actually the data type. Instead of having data type which is a string, we have the data type which is a quote. So that is the simple logic behind. So as long as you understand that logic. So for example, if you have 100 quotes, you can always just come here and you add another one. So let me try to add more 3 quotes. So I'm going to change the text. I also change the author. So I have something like that. So let me try to save and see. I think you are seeing that now they were 3 at first. Now they are 6, but I changed that. Let me rechange back the order. I want the text first, and then I want the author last. Like that. So it's now okay. So again, I can apply the other column properties, because I know that there are some properties we can use for a column. Let's try to check and see. We have the main axis alignment. We have the cross axis alignment. So we can still use those ones. Let us try to first use the main axis alignment. We use the main. Okay. Let me first use the main. So the property is called the main axis. Remember, a property starts with a small letter. Then it is the widget, which starts with a capital letter. Main axis alignment dot. Let me use dot start. Let's try to save that and see. So for today, our text is going to be looking weird, like the way you see it. But by the end of tomorrow, you are going to say different thing. Because tomorrow you are going to create a card. And when you create a card, each quote will come as a card. Meaning that if I have 6 of them, I will be having six cards on this screen. And you see that now you see that the appearance will change and it will look like a real application. So you can also give it a cross axis alignment. I think that you see that when I give it a cross axis alignment dot start, they all go to the starting point. Because at first we had somewhere in the middle, somewhere, but when I give it a cross axis alignment, then they change. I can also decide to give them a spacing. but that spacing, let me see how we can do that spacing. How can we achieve that? Can we use the new line character? Let me see. The new line character, how does it look like? I think it is /n.
It's working.
So is it working?
I was just, I'm not seeing an error. Maybe it works.
Yeah, I'm not seeing an error. Let me try and see. I think it works.
Yeah.
That is the new line character. Which other style can I give it? Let me see. The text direction.
So first, before you continue,
Mm.
you say this dash after quote,
It is printed.
text with text.
Mm.
It's printed there. I'm seeing it.
Yes,
Okay.
because it is inside the code. It is inside the quotes. What is inside the quotes is printed as it is. It is only these variables which you have to first call using this $sign. But anything you write, for example, if I come here and I write 1, 2, 3, 4, and I save it, again, you are seeing that each of them is having 1, 2, 3, 4 after the dash. So whichever is inside those quotes will be printed. So now we have to modify that those quotes and create a card such that each card is having one quote and the author. So that's what we are going to do tomorrow. Just creating those cards, and then actually I want to create more like 3 pages, because if you are going to design an application with 1,000 quotes, it means that you need many pages to accommodate them. However, you can just make the page scrollable. There's that you can always explore those properties, whereby if you have 100 quotes on one page, you can just scroll. That is a widget. And actually, in the other assignment which I gave, you need that widget somewhere, because you see that you have many contents. So
it's called what?
It's called the scroll view. Let me see. You just come to, for example, you just come to the body, because you want to apply it to the body, not to the app bar. When I click on the app bar, then I see that candle. I can say wrap with the widget. I see that now where there is that part, that word widget, I just type my widget I want. So it's called the scroll page. Let me see. No. How is it called? Page scroll. So I know the words, but the order of those words. Let me try to remember. It's called the page scroll view.
I'm not seeing it. You try page scroll.
Let me just write the word scroll, and then I see all the options which they'll give me. I remember. Let me just type scroll with capital S, and then they give me all the widgets. So sometimes you can forget the name of the widget, but as long as you have the
idea.
Yeah, you have the idea. Let me see, scroll position with a single context, it's not that one. Scroll view. Actually, it starts with the scroll view, I think. Let me see. Scroll direction, scroll position. Okay. Try to look for it. Actually, I used it yesterday.
And Google.
Okay, let me try to out and
Google.
I used that widget yesterday. I was doing something and I used that widget. Yeah, it is called single child scroll view.
Single child scroll view.
Yeah, it is called single child scroll view. I think now you are seeing it there. Single child scroll view.
Yeah.
So that is the widget you use if you want to make the page scrollable. After the text, then you just create there that widget, which is a single child scroll view. If I want to remove
Comes on the
because like you can be having like if I have more than 100 quotes. So let me try to just repeat these quotes more than. Let me just copy and I paste. You see, Control C. Now I'm going to first remove that scroll view. Let me first remove it from there. I say remove this widget. Then I'm going to paste such that they can't fit. Now I'm very sure those ones cannot fit on that screen. So let me try to save and we see. Control S. And when you are running it on the phone, you say you see the real problem. They'll give some comment, even some lines down. Are you seeing that? Even when you're running on the phone, you see something like that, that there is a bottom overflow. That's called an overflow. So the only way you can remove that overflow, you have to come to your board and you create that scroll view. I wrap with a widget, and then I call it single. It is there, single child scroll view. And then I can save it again. So some of the widgets, even the other widget which you wanted, which is for carving, actually I also used it yesterday for carving a text field. So some of those widgets you can.
What's the name?
Okay, I'll send you the name in the WhatsApp. I used it, but I don't remember. Okay. Now you are saying that the error is not there.
Yeah.
I think that because now I can scroll this page, you can see that there are some quotes which are down. And when you are using when you are sending that up on the phone, you will see that now you can even see from here, I can scroll. Even on the phone, it will be the same. You just scroll using the screen and then you see what is down. So that's you that's that we always use that widget to do that. So some of the widgets you just explore them when you are working on a project. Because actually it is like you see HTML, it is having very many tags. So even here, this one is having many widgets. Some of the widgets you may not even use them. You just find them on the way. Others will be using them. So that's our application for today. Tomorrow we are going to create cards. You'll see how a card looks like. And when you create a card, then the quotes will be looking nice, because you want to create a card for each, so that for each quote and then the author, I have a different card. Meaning that if I have 1,000, I have 1,000 cards. And the best way to do that, it will be making the page scrollable. And then another thing we will add is, we shall add that option so that if the user doesn't want that quote, he can delete it from there. Because now we know how to
The what?
like if I'm the final user and I'm having that application on my phone and I don't want to see that quote, I just click on the delete button and I delete it.
The what? The app.
I delete, no, not deleting the app. I delete that quote from there. For example, if I'm the user and I don't want to see the first quote, a good programmer is the reason when I want to delete it. So you just put a delete button there so that the user can delete it from there.
Okay.
Actually, it will be hiding it. The user can hide it from there.
After you help me with the thing of covering, yeah?
Okay, I'm going to send it via WhatsApp.
Okay.
Tomorrow we shall be using the same code because you have to. Actually, this is like a second project you are doing, because at the end you'll be having something which is presentable. And then when you complete this, we have to start on our project, which is the world time. I think if we complete tomorrow, then we have to start that project on Thursday. Because by the end of the other week on Friday, we will be done with that project. And then we can be in position to upload it on GitHub. And then the next week we start on that part of back end, because that part of back end we have to first design the forms. And actually there we shall be looking at the actual format of an application, because our application will be having screens, it will be having the home. We shall be looking at the actual format, and by the time we complete that back end, that will be a project.
Okay, how are you doing your internship, Mike?
My internship, I think I'm going to do from Wimea. I had applied and they accepted my application. So I talked to the person in charge. So they told me they are going to design a program of doing the internship online, and by Friday it will be out. Also, there is one for AI lab. I have also another for AI lab. I think they are going to reply my application tomorrow, because I did the interview via the weekend.
Online, eh?
Yeah, the interview was online. And they were asking, and actually they were asking for real life projects. So I also have that one. There is also one for safe border, but I'm doing that interview on Saturday, because I passed the first phase, and then there is that second phase for interview. I think it will be on Saturday, and it will be a logical interview.
Okay, man, wish you the best.
So I'll start next week my internship.
Even me, I may work on a project, just one.
Yeah, actually working on a project, if you have your skills, that's always better.
Because I have skills in web design, so I'll design a website.
But me, I hate websites. It's better you design. Why? It's better you design an application, but a website, it's a usual thing. Like, that's why they told us in internship they don't want in research they don't want a website. It's a common thing. Even if someone who has stopped in senior folk can design a website. An application is a bit logical, but when you design an application, at least it is presentable than just designing a website. So it's better you just design an application.
Okay, I will see. I'm first looking for a project. In case I get a good one, I present it. I start.
Mm.
Because I was supposed to do this from somewhere, but again, no transport. So
Actually,
it's hard.
I also had a place in Intinda, but I cancelled. Actually, I refused to go. When they called me and I refused to go there because I first thought of transport. If you are to move from Nansana to Ntinda, and by then vehicles were still moving. But when I looked at that part of transport, imagine moving from Nansana to Ntinda, you have to waste a minimum of 15,000. Me at every day you have to waste that. So I just cancelled that program.